All right, guys. I'd like to welcome you to today's webinar where we are looking at having some personal development that is done by Ayanda. So I hope everybody's got a pen and a paper because we're hoping it would be an interactive session. So without further ado, I'd like to hand over to Ayanda.
Hi guys, welcome to our second session of the Gateway to Success series. Again, it is a series designed for grade 8 to 12 learners in order to give you guys a bit of educational awareness around various career paths. So today we thought to do something a little bit different, providing you with a little bit of personal development coaching, which I do. And I hope you guys will get a lot of benefit from it. Okay, so I would like a few of you guys to do a round of introductions. I'm not gonna, can someone just volunteer? Introduce yourselves.
Hi, my name is Divine. I am currently a second year student. I am doing this for my baby brother who is currently in grade 10. Yes, I think that's right, grade 10. And I've gained a lot from Uplifted Abroad, so I just thought to do this for him. He's always unavailable, unfortunately, when we have these calls. So I'm doing this on his behalf again because he's in school now. So yeah, that's me.
Okay. So if I were to ask you, Divine, to introduce yourself without mentioning your name and your age, how would you describe yourself?
I would describe myself as an ambitious, empowered person who is driven towards succeeding. Um, yeah, that's what I'd say about myself. I'm driven towards succeeding and I have a passion for working with children.
Fantastic. Okay, next person.
Hi,
Hi, Togo. Please introduce yourself. We know your name is Togo.
uh,
So your name is out of the question. Your age is
no,
irrelevant and your gender is also irrelevant.
no, my name is not Toko. We're using my mom's laptop
Okay.
to join in.
Okay.
Um, my name is Serenity and I'm 16 years old. I'm a girl and I'm with
So I asked you to introduce yourself without using your name, your age, or your gender. Are you feeling a little stuck?
yeah,
Okay. Is there anyone else next to you who can try?
no. Yeah, there's someone next to me.
Okay,
Not
let
too
her
far
try.
from me. She says she doesn't have anything to say.
Okay. Okay, that's okay. I think we're here to learn how to do that today, and I'm here to try to empower you guys with some skills in order to do that, because this is one of the most important things you'll have to learn as you go throughout your life, whether it is for a job interview, whether it is for a scholarship, acceptance, whatever opportunity, even if it's a business pitch. One of the best ways in order to achieve something in life is to be able to articulate what your unique selling proposition is, right? And the core of that is who you are. Okay? I'll skip you guys then, give you guys a chance to think about it as we go. Any other takers?
Hi. How's it?
Good,
I'm all
thank
right.
you.
How are you?
Good. Well, I'm a guest here, and I think it's not applicable since I have a bachelor degree, and I think my answer would not be connected
Doesn't matter.
applicable for this.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, you're still
Oh,
teaching.
okay.
It's still a lesson on how to introduce oneself and how to articulate one's unique selling proposition.
Okay. Thank you. Well, based on your explanation, I would try to introduce myself. Well, I'm an economist graduate from the major university in Mozambique, which is Eduardo Mondlane University in 2018. And since that time, I've been involved in the mining sector, primarily working as a financial controller. And after that experience, I had an opportunity to work as a budget and content analyst. Well, currently, apart from my professional career, I'm also investing in some online trainings, and I have a keen interest in research. My main topics are financial inclusion and data analytics. Well, I intend to pursue a master degree in finance so that I can help my country to overcome the poverty and also meet some of the development agenda of my government.
Okay, lovely. That was quite a nice introduction. Would you be able to introduce yourself without talking about your profession?
Okay, let me try. Well, my name is Ventura Makluv, and I'm 32. I'm married to a lawyer, and I have a daughter. During my spare time, I do play the guitar and the keyboards at church, and I do uh, love volunteering. Here in Mozambique, I'm involved in two associations, which are the FinTechs Association of Mozambique and the Mozambican Association for Natural Disasters Prevention and Community Development. Within those associations, we promote a lot of volunteering initiatives, and we also help some local communities here in my country.
Lovely, lovely. You see, one thing I love about that is that you spoke quite a lot about your passions, what you're passionate about, what drives you, and the engagement that you have when it comes to your community. So those are the things that I want to come out, you know? So thank you so
Can
much.
I have a go?
Yes?
Okay, so I am an educator at heart and passionate about using education as a tool for personal development and inspiring personal development in others because I have seen firsthand how education can transform one's life. As a result, I firmly believe in a lifelong learning and reinforcing my learning by teaching others. And now working in higher education for 11 years has taken me from being an intern trying to figure herself out to a laboratory technician who is demonstrated practicals focused on the application of knowledge gained by students in other subjects, and finally developing as a researcher looking for ways to contribute towards resolving sustainable development goal 4 and 6, which is quality education and access to clean water and sanitation.
Lovely. Lovely. Next taker. There's no complete wrong answer. We're just here to learn how to go about it. So just try. Where's Dineo?
Afternoon, ma'am. It's actually Danielle's daughter speaking. Tuti. I think I was in the last meeting, if you can remember.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. I am. Okay, ma'am. So I must introduce myself without my name, without my education, without
Your
any
age.
of that. Oh,
Yeah, without your name, your age, your gender, and yeah, your education.
all right. I am a passionate individual, passionate specifically in entrepreneurship, the business and the financial sector. I'm invested and willing to learn more about, gaining more education so that I can be a better person. I love doing yoga and Pilates and exercising in my free time. I love education. I love learning more to educate myself because I feel like education makes you smarter. Like you are a much smarter person the more education that you acquire.
Nice.
And
Nice. Well done. Well done. Next person.
Good. Good afternoon. Yeah, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Eddie.
Afternoon, Eddie.
Yeah. Well, I'm still learning. I'm still learning. I need to.
Eddie, but now you can't be learning.
Believe me, I'm learning. I'm learning.
Mm.
Can I come back later?
Running away. But it's also quite interesting for the younger ones to see that this is
Yeah.
not just a difficult thing for them. Even the oldies, it's quite a difficult thing for one to introduce themselves or articulate their unique selling proposition. But we're here to learn, right? We're here to learn. Next person.
Hi.
Hi, dear.
Can you please read the question? I came in late, so I didn't hear the question.
Okay,
So
like what we were required to say.
we're introducing ourselves. So can you introduce yourself without mentioning your name, your age, your gender?
Okay. Okay, broken person who loves helping people and would like to go into a profession that requires me to reach out to people and work hand in hand with businesses or just anything relating to people. And yeah, I think that's it for now.
Okay, cool. Anyone else who hasn't gone? Ready to go, Eddie?
No. I'm saying at the end of this session, I'm definitely sure we'll know how to develop one because really, I mean, I think this is the reason I wanted to join here because I think it's not just us. It's the way our education system was.
Mm.
It didn't really teach us the most important things of being yourself. And I think this platform is going to help me a lot. Thank you so much. I'll just say that.
Okay, cool. Yes, Rodney?
Oh, yeah, I'm back now. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, being a parent.
Hey, I thought you were gonna say, hi, I'm Rodney. I'm a parent. I'm a father.
Maybe I should have, yeah, I think you've done it. Yes, I'm Rodney, I'm a father. Yeah, that's it. It's tricky. But anyway, so I'm actually more interested in making a difference in the world, mainly by helping people to help themselves. And that, of course, I do in terms of the profession that I hold, which is a social worker. But my main focus of interest is in gender equality and quality education, which are basically reflected in the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations, which by 2030, we should be able to get into that. So I believe that everybody has the potential to grow and become the best that they can be. And that's what encourages me to continue to invest my time in helping people educationally to secure scholarships and also just to leverage on various opportunities that are out there. And then in my spare time, I like exercising through running, which I believe it is something that is positive just to clear one's mind and to be fit. So that's me in a nutshell. Thank you, Ayanda.
Well done, Rodney. Well done. Okay. Okay, so this will help you guys a little bit more in terms of what, describing yourself. We'll delve into the facets of who you are. Firstly, yeah, you can click. We've got your passions. A lot of the people who spoke to their passions. Ventura mentioned his passions, Rodney mentioned his passions, and also is it Serenity? also spoke to some of the things that she's passionate about. So what do you love and what would you do for free? So maybe if I could ask the people who were struggling a little with their definitions of who they are, if I would ask them to come back and just answer this one question, what do you love and what would you do for free? If I were to wake you up at 3 a.m., what would be the one thing that you're able to do without complaining and you'd get up and just do it?
Yeah. Pardon, can you please repeat the question?
What do you love? What are your passions? What would you do for free?
Right. So what I do for free, I'm a creative person when it comes to research. You know, I have so many questions. Everything that I see around me, I'm able to develop a research question to say what can be done to improve it. So that's the first thing I think I enjoy doing. And I enjoy brainstorming things around that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second thing that I like doing is to really read about life in general. How can I improve myself and how can other people improve themselves as well? And as Rodney well put it earlier, I'm interested in seeing other people improve their lives as well, which is embedded in my role as well. And yeah, well, I like running as well, like Rodney. Just that, you know, sometimes it's a matter of priorities.
Okay.
But I think it's about consistency, not necessarily priorities. Consistency. Ronnie is more consistent than me, but I think it's part of really who I am. I enjoy education and professional development. That's generally who I am.
I urge you to write these things down.
Yeah.
As you're thinking them, as you're saying them, write them down because these are the elements that build up to you being able to articulate this at the drop of the hat,
Right.
no matter who the audience is. Okay.
Okay.
Anyone else who else didn't have a go in Domfuti, but who else did we skip over? Okay.
Hi. I would say I'm very passionate about sort of sustainability and teaching sustainability or environmental sustainability to the people around me, and learning from others and listening to other people. And I guess also just music. I really love music and I play a bit of guitar. So yeah.
Lovely, lovely. Are you writing it down? I urge
No,
you to write it down so that you don't forget and yeah, you build up this library or vocab around articulating who you are. Okay. Okay, well, for me, what I'm very passionate about is I always say that I'm a multi-passionate student of life. And I'm on a quest to see 100 countries before I die. So already from that short statement, you can probably deduce that I'm a lover of education and I love to travel. You know, those are the two main things that drive me, if I could say. Okay, and then next point, skills. So what skills am I good at and what am I known for? Like if you think about it, I think take a little bit of time, maybe if it's about 3 to 5 minutes. I'll give you 3 to 5 minutes each to write down what skills you're really good at. Like if you think about what people come to you for, what you're known for, like please jot your skills down. Is anyone ready with a response? I see you've written something in the chat. Is that you, Domfut?
Yes, I was just writing my skills.
Okay. Tell us.
So I have stated that my skills are teaching, academic writing, researching, chemical engineering, sketching, social media marketing, and content creation. Those are the ones I could think of.
Okay. Video editing.
Yeah, that's why I say content creation.
Okay.
Thanks. Yeah. Like I'm just trying to lay a little bit back that to give others, opportunity to speak more. But anyway, so for me, the skills that I possess, it's facilitation skills, academic writing, analytical skills, and also mentoring. I think it's one of the skills. So and also leadership. It's some of the skills that I possess. Thank you, Ayanda.
Lovely.
Nice.
Eddie?
Yeah, sorry about that. I've written a few: creative writing, critical thinking, uh, teaching and facilitation, and then leadership.
Okay. Lovely.
Yeah.
Next taker?
Well, I consider that I'm a gifted person since I have a lot of qualities. I can mention that I have some leadership skills. I consider that I'm a creative person, and a lot of people say that I have good communication skills. I guess that those are my qualities.
Lovely.
Okay, I'll go next. So I'm patient, I'm creative, I'm a good motivator, and I'm also like don't be good at teaching.
Nice. And any technical skills?
Any technical skills, not that I can think of at the moment, but I'll get back to you.
What did you say you're studying again?
Community development.
Okay. All right. Next person.
I said I'm good at creative projects for communities, leadership, debating, musical performance, argumentative speech, argumentative research. Yeah. Gardening.
Nice. Lovely. And your skills don't always have to be something that you like, eh? Because I know, if you think about technical skills, you may be doing something in your studies or your job role, like Excel, even if you don't like it, but it's still a technical skill that you have. So we're just trying to identify, like, holistically, what are the things that you have? And a lot of you mentioned teaching. So potentially think about something that is an inherent skill that you have that you can impart or teach to the next person as well.
I would say that some of my skills are I'm good at creative writing. I have good leadership skills. I am persuasive. I'm very good at public speaking, and I am good at photography.
Nice. We've got a lot of creative writers in the house and people who are good at public speaking, I see. So the next point is lived experience. So what life-defining moment have you been through that has shaped the way you see the world? So a lot of you who were on the call last week, or a lot of you who've encountered us before, you'll hear Ntombifuthi and I speak a lot about being excluded from UCT. So this was probably like a joint lived experience or defining moment that shaped the way we see the world. So I'm looking for examples like that. It doesn't have to be the same. It could even be something that happened in your childhood, like I don't know, something that you can think of that is a lived experience that you've been through that kind of shapes how you view the world and possibly the things that you're very passionate about. Okay, anyone ready?
Yes, Divine.
Yes, Divine.
For me, it was getting diagnosed with an illness which made me passionate about holistic living.
Lovely. Thank you for sharing. Next person.
Let me go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just like Dombi as well, I dropped out of 3 universities actually, and it was due to different circumstances. And but the defining moment, I think for me, could be when I lost my parents and relatives. So I think that is my main defining moment.
Thank you for sharing.
Well, I strongly believe that I changed my mind uh, when I got my baby. Well, since that moment, I realized that I should address things in life in a different approach, and I should be much more precise when I take some decisions.
Thank you. Dinel's daughter?
Yes, ma'am. My lived experience or changing situation for me was when I had left the school that I was currently in, and then I finally moved to Cambridge, which opened up doors for me to go international, to go to university abroad, and then just manifesting that and keeping that in my thoughts and everywhere I go, and then eventually my mother popping into a stage, reading this group, and entering today's expo in yesterday's expo. Where were we? We were at this other college, yeah, but it was a global expo and all that information and the way everything was just lined up perfectly after what I thought was a horrible, I just extreme, bad, oh my gosh, what am I going to do with my life? That all just changed me who I am today.
Okay, I think I was struggling to hear you, but from the last part, I'm understanding you talking about getting exposure also at the Global Expo yesterday, and it just
Yes,
changing
ma'am.
perspective. Okay, all right.
Yes, ma'am.
Next person.
I can go ahead.
Yes.
So for me, the life-defining moment was when in 2013, I was awarded an exchange program to be in Germany as part of my social work program. So that just opened my eyes just to realize that, the world is actually bigger than one think it is. Just being in South Africa, you think everything just, starts and ends there, but just being out there in the world makes you realize that there are so many opportunities and there's a lot to do. So for me, that was just an eye opener and I never looked back. Thanks.
Lovely.
I haven't gone. So
Yes.
it's not really one specific moment, but sort of realizing my mom was struggling to be able to provide for me a lot when I was younger. And then she started gardening and sort of becoming more sustainable and being able to provide for me. And I'm realizing, or I've been realizing, that a lot of other people could possibly do that as well, sort of to reduce poverty and everything else. So, yeah.
Love it. Lovely. I love that. I love that. Anyone else?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So for me, the life-defining moment, it was sometime around 2021, right? Um, it was during that time, when it was during the pandemic when people were dying. So there was a point in that time when people were dying, whereby I think for like 2 weeks, every single day, someone was dying, and at the time, it was people who I'm very, 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 very close with. And I think for me, that just made me realize, life is very short to not do what makes you happy. Life is too short to be focusing on unnecessary things. And I just lived at the time I just lived to make myself happy, to do what makes me happy. And yeah, that was that.
Nice. Not nice that that happened, but nice for you to share that and to identify that as a lived experience of yours. Okay. I think we can go to the next point, Dombi. All right. So thinking about how we've all described this, I think it's a nice point to reflect on when you take your passions, your skills, and your lived experience, and you try and find a way to solve a social problem. So I think it was Hannah. Hannah, if you could sum up everything, because I think you spoke to sustainability as one of your passions, and then it was only later on when you talked about your lived experience of your mother not being able to provide for you and starting to farm, it then came out that, okay, this is why sustainability is potentially one of your passions. So I think if you could speak to your passions, skills, and lived experiences, if you could sum it all up as an explanation of who you are.
Well, sort of who I am has, I mean, a lot to do with my past and everything, as you can see. But yeah, so my big passion for sustainability and wanting to change the world is because of what I went through and what I'm seeing happen around me every single day. And I feel as though everybody deserves a chance to live a life where, they have everything they ever needed. And we can really get that through sustainability. So, I mean, yeah, I think that's
Did you know
my,
that
I don't
that's
really know.
why did you identify beforehand that that lived experience is really what drives your passion?
I never identified that before, but I see how doing that now really connects everything together.
So looking at your skills, what skills can you use to express that passion and linking it up with your lived experience in order to solve a social problem?
Well, I wrote that I'm good at debating, and so sort of I could do a lot of speeches, and sort of educate people outside in the world and whatever, about sustainability and about everything. And I'm good at gardening as well, so I could do, interactive activities and workshops that teach people how to actually become sustainable.
Exactly. So is everyone seeing where we're going with this? Is everyone seeing where we're going? Any other takers to just break it down for themselves or link up their passions, their skills, and lived experiences? Eddie?
Yeah, well, with me, I think it's all about the experiences I've had in the past that really drove me into the profession I think I'm in. Um, and only to find that in retrospect, I remember there was a teacher who once told me that this is what I need to do. And this is while I was still in high school, and I didn't even remember uh, considering it when I was going to varsity. And that is why maybe I probably dropped out in the first instance in my university attempt. But in any case, I think looking at everything that has happened, I think two out of the ventures I took in higher education related really to embedded experiences that I've had in my life, and ultimately, drove me into this profession. And also the fact that there was also a motivation that I got from my father to remain in the medical field. That is why my passion is mostly in medical research than anything else. Yes, I'm still able to do every other thing, but my passion is mostly in medical research. But it's really all about that. Thank you.
Lovely. Anyone else have any other aha moments in terms of seeing how your lived experiences is what drives your passions?
I'd like to have a go. I think I've had several aha moments in my life. And I think as a family, we've always been people who have been passionate about personal development and inspiring it in others. It's something that we've done naturally from many, many years ago. I mean, my mom, even when she was still doing her master's, she always used to assist people with their research. But I think for us, another aha moment was when you were busy doing the last qualification that you did. Can I
Advanced diploma in management practice.
Yes, when you did that advanced diploma in management practice, you remember you sat us down and we had to literally jot down what our skills are as individuals. And we saw that there was a common thread that even you in your work area, you're always passionate about transferring skills and knowledge to those who are upcoming, who are still new in the company. It's the same thing I did whenever I was interacting with my students. It went more or beyond what I was teaching them. It was about making them to look at things differently. For example, I always used to talk about, guys, academics is also a career you can follow. Research is also a career you can follow. You don't only have to focus on industry, try and broaden yourselves. And I think when we put that all together, that's what helped us to come up with this initiative, Uplifted Abroad. And also my experience of having gone through the application process of finding a scholarship, fully funded scholarship to do my PhD abroad, then it became wholesome. And that's how we then took this whole passion, skills, and lived experience and then pulled it together to see how we could resolve a social problem, which is responding to Sustainable Development Goal 4, quality education. So I think, yeah, that shows how it all links up.
Lovely. Anyone else? There was a lady who was talking about her experience during COVID. A lot of people dying. How did that drive your passions? Because you mentioned that you realized that life is too short. Do you want to elaborate on the link between that lived experience and your passions? Anyone else want to talk about the links between their lived experience and their passions? Okay, because I want to help people to see the linkages for themselves. Because you see, even with Hannah, she was always doing these things like gardening, but she didn't really know that this is what drives it. Okay, but if no one else wants to have a go, we can move on to the next slide. Okay, so what are some of these social problems that we talk about? I mean, we don't have to look far within our country and within our continent to see what social problems we have. And a lot of these social problems are quite interconnected throughout the countries. It's a general problem across the board. So the first one is youth unemployment. We know that in South Africa, this is a very big one for us because the youth group is the most unemployed group out of all the age groups, having over 50 to 60% of the youth who are actually capable of being employed, being unemployed. Affordable education is also a big one. Access to good health, gender-based violence substance abuse, and crime. So if I were to ask you guys, what is a social problem that is really close to your heart?
So with me is disease. It's about disease, social determinants of health in particular. Social determinants of health. In other words, social problems that cause people to be sick. That's basically what really interests me.
Okay, so substance abuse would probably be one of them.
One of them, yes.
Okay. All right. Next.
Yeah. So for me, like in addition to what Toby said, so gender-based violence, it's of course like it just falls within that gender equality and use of education. So now the third one that I can add there for me is safeguarding children. In terms of their safety and well-being. So that's also one of the things that really, really, not necessarily keeps me awake at night, but yeah, something that is quite important for me. Yeah. And of course, like as part of the job that I do. So yeah.
Okay, next person.
I think Rodney spoke to mine because I didn't know how to word it, and he worded it so perfectly. Safeguarding children, like the wellness of children in general is a huge passion of mine.
Sorry, who's that? I can't see all the names.
It's Divine.
Okay. All right. Okay, next person.
I'll have a go. I would think mine are the gender violence. One that is not listed here would be teenage pregnancy.
Okay. Lovely. All right. So I think we all have that problem that actually plagues us. And we would like to see a resolution for, right? Okay. So this brings us to the Sustainable Development Goals. Tommy, I don't know if you would like to maybe just give us a brief overview of the Sustainable Development Goals for those who haven't encountered them before.
Right. So Sustainable Development Goals are actually 17 goals that were proposed by the United Nations. They were coming from what were they?
The Millennial Goals.
Millennial Goals, yes. They were an add-on to the Millennial Goals because I think the Millennial Goals are not as many. So what the UN did is they looked at the world as an entire thing to see what are the social problems that are common throughout different countries in the world. And it was noticed that there's poverty is one of them, hunger, access to good health, quality education, gender-based violence, clean water and sanitation, and the list goes on. So the idea was that with these 17 sustainable development goals, different governments in different countries are supposed to then implement them into their national strategies to see how they can go about contributing to the resolution of these social problems. And this also required industry itself to also come to the party because we see here sustainable cities and communities, reasonable consumption, and also taking into consideration that the industrialization of things is what led to the degradation of our planet, where there's now global warming because of the emission of carbon dioxide and so forth, the generation of a whole lot of wastewater. So we're consuming so much water, but we're not doing enough to replenish or to come up with sustainable ways to reuse whatever water has been consumed. We had to look for better ways of also treating this water because, for example, speaking about my own research, we find that the treatment of wastewater is actually very costly. It requires a lot of electricity. It requires a lot of resources that cost a lot. So industries have to now look at ways of how can we perform more efficiently. That's where now you look into your solar energy, anything that is a renewable energy, whether they're using biogas, natural gas to try and produce hydrogen, the list goes on. And so that's how industries come into play. But however, institutions also have a role to play because now a lot of research needs to be undertaken to see, okay, are there better ways that we can come up with? So now you find that your academic institutions are now supposed to come up with projects. So they're supposed to say financing coming from whichever institution. For me, it comes from Science Foundation Ireland, has to back projects that have a promise to say, okay, we are now going to contribute to the resolution of this specific problem. So, for example, you'll find principal investigators, as well as people from industry, they will collaborate with institutions to say, okay, guys, what can we do to improve our process, right? Then they will brainstorm, they will write up a proposal to say, okay, this is what we're trying to do, and it's going to address this specific sustainable development goal. We will be producing masters, PhDs, research interns, postdoctoral fellows to work towards resolving this, and we would like to get some funding. Then these different institutions will provide the funding, but at the same time, every year they have to give a report back to say, okay, this is what we've done. We've published here. We've done this research, this project. We've done this. I mean, my main supervisor, as well as a co-supervisor from industry, the co-supervisor was actually his student. So in his PhD, he came up with a technology to be used for wastewater treatment, but reducing the electricity consumption. And he's now actually patented this device. That is how you find that education and industry is now trying to work together to try and resolve these sustainable development goals. Is there anything else you wanted me to say?
No, lovely. Well covered. Okay, so I wanted to ask the floor, having interacted with Uplifted Abroad, which sustainable development goals do you think we are seeking to address?
Quality education.
Okay, that's one.
Reduced inequalities.
That's another one.
Well, I
jobs
think
and
this can,
growth.
Yes, good jobs and economic growth. Yes.
well, I think this one can also contribute to gender equality.
Yes. And you know, an interesting point is that a lot of the people in our group, or a lot of people who've come onto the Uplifted Abroad platform and joined our community, about over 90% are females, not by design, but it's just happened that way. But it's quite a nice one for us because we know that if you educate a girl child, you're educating more than just that girl child. You're improving the life of a greater community. Yes? Other ones? Would you argue with me if I told you that we actually, in a way, addressing all 17 of the Sustainable Development Goals? Would anyone argue with me?
I don't think so, because each of them is impacting on the other.
Yes, exactly. And again, if you think about it in a not so obvious way, we are helping people find and leverage opportunities to study abroad. So each and every person who we help find an opportunity to study abroad is potentially going to be addressing a different sustainable development goal, you know. For example, Hannah was talking about the fact that she loves to garden, farming for her own produce. So she might enter into a career where she's addressing climate action, life below water, life on land, you know. So everybody, or every representative that we end up sending abroad, ends up speaking to the various sustainable development goals. And as you've alluded to, they all actually link up together. For example, if you eradicate poverty, you will lead to no hunger. And also with no hunger, it ties into good health. So in a way, they all link up together and will also impact different qualifications or different streams of education that link into each other. Are there any other questions on this, on the sustainable goal slide? Cool. Okay. So having understood who we are in terms of getting clarity around what our passions are, what our skills are, what our lived experiences are, what social problem really plagues us, also having an understanding of how those social problems and those passions that we're trying to address link up with the sustainable development goals. It's a very good thing to understand where the world is going. So we're currently in the fourth industrial revolution, and I think this is something that's going to help the young ones as well when it comes to selecting either a career path or even if they decide to go into entrepreneurship, coming up with social entrepreneurship projects that address some of these issues. So we're currently in the fourth industrial revolution, where we've got artificial intelligence, information technology, data analysis that is coming to the fore. There's new ways of working as well as transformation that is required in terms of skills and jobs. So as we move from the fourth industrial revolution to the fifth industrial revolution, what is interesting is that those technologies will still continue. But what's going to happen is that it's now transforming into a relationship-based approach, connecting humanity, the planet, and purpose to innovation. So innovation still plays a part, but it's about how we use innovation and technology to solve social problems. So if we think about it, innovation will be largely linked to purpose and inclusivity, and then also profit, purpose, and trust will be linked together. So tech will really be used as a sign for good. So I think we all do well to ask ourselves, are we upskilling ourselves with these disruptive technologies in order to be relevant in the future? And when you think about the industry that you want to go into, it's not just about saying that, oh, people who are going into tech-related industries should worry about this. Every single industry is being impacted by changes in tech, whether it is HR, whether it is finance, whether it is social, the social sciences, you know, the disruptive technologies are becoming applicable across the board. So it's quite important for you to also think about this shift and ready yourself for the shift from the fourth to the fifth industrial revolution by upskilling yourself and also finding out how is it that you can link your passions, your skills, your lived experiences, a social problem that you're concerned about, with some sort of skill that you have coming from the fourth industrial revolution in order to use tech for good. Excuse me. So if you think about it, Uplifted Abroad, we're quite a nice case study in terms of doing this. So we were able to say, what are our passions, which are personal development, also education being a big one. What skills we had, we looked at Dombi's skills. We're both good at facilitation. She's good at teaching, having been a lecturer. I'm good on the business side, having come from a retail background and profession. So we were able to combine this business knowledge as well as the teaching and learning aspect of it to say, how can we inspire people with our personal lived experience of failing at UCT and turning our lives around in order to help people see a success story of how Ntombi went from being excluded from UCT to a student at, excuse me, to a student at the University of Galway studying her PhD. And what did we use? Where did most of you guys encounter us? You encountered us from TikTok. So we're using tech or yeah, social media and tech, one of those disruptive technologies to reach the masses. So do you see how all of this links up? And we're solving social problems in the process and addressing sustainable development issues. Do you guys see how all of this links up?
Yes.
Yes. So I think this is what I really wanted to, the point I really wanted to drive home today, to say, guys, if you really can have a deeper understanding of who you are and what drives you, you can potentially come up with something or a project that addresses all these issues that are eminent in the world, and also using technology in order to reduce expenses. Because if you think about it, if this was 10 years ago, we wouldn't be able to be sitting here on this Zoom call with all of you guys, wherever you are, like in terms of whatever locations you're sitting at, you know? So technology has created quite a nice reach for us to be able to interact with people of diverse backgrounds. And also for those of you who've started their journeys of applying for scholarships to study abroad, I'm not sure, Eddie, how intensive your search has been, but you would know that one of the main requirements of studying abroad is a personal statement, right? So from this information that you've learned today, do you think it can help you, Eddie, to craft a compelling personal statement?
Yes, yes, indeed it will. It definitely will.
Yeah, because it's really, this is what they want from us. When it comes to applications to study abroad, they really want to know, what do you bring to the table, what your unique selling proposition is. And I mean, if you think about it, you and Rodney are in the same field of work, but still you have different passions, you have different skills, you have different lived experiences, and what you bring to the table is completely different from what he brings to the table. So if we're able to fully articulate these things, that's how we'd be able to win these opportunities that are out there. So that's kind of where my thinking was for today's session, to just open your eyes to this possibility. I don't know if anyone has any questions or comments.
And thank you very much for the session. It has helped me to reflect, you know,
Yeah.
and also somehow therapeutic in nature. And I think, I hope everyone would also take that in. The fact that you had to look at one of your most, one of the defining moments in your life that puts you where you are. I think it's really one of those processes that we tend to use in my profession as well, to help a person really reflect and think about their lives. So I think it is very important for us as individuals to really think about it and use it, apply it, to know exactly where we want to see ourselves in the future as we craft our intentions in terms of careers and reaching our dreams and goals. And so thank you very much for the session.
Thank you,
I
Eddie.
think what I'm taking away is my, I need to now go and try to clarify my unique selling proposition. I already drafted one, but I just need to really go and clean it, make it very interesting. Just one question
Yeah.
that I wanted to throw in. How long should this USP be? Because you don't really want to bore people as you are, as you are introducing yourself using your unique selling proposition. Thank you.
I think it's about as punchy as required and as punchy as the audience that is listening to you requires, So when it comes to, because this is something that could be used for either a job interview, because if you think about it, this is you tell us about yourself statement rather than saying I'm Eddie, I'm whatever. They know those things about you. But if you can have that punchy introduction for an interview when it comes to a job, that would be potentially different to something where if you were pitching a business proposal, like, for example, this idea of ours, if we were potentially trying to pitch it to government to say that we've got this business called Uplifted Abroad, it is based on these passion, skills, lived experiences, and this is what social problem is trying to address, that would potentially be a longer pitch. So I think it just depends on the audience and what the purpose is for. In a personal statement, you also have the opportunity to go at length, but some personal statements will limit you to the words. So it really just depends on the audience that's going to receive that unique selling proposition. Is that answered?
Yes, thank you very much. And I think it also helps those who are now applying for jobs or applying for university entrance.
Yes.
So it's good. Thank you very much.
Yes.
And I just want to add that, but at the end of the day, it still goes down to the core of who you are. So for us, no matter who we're pitching to, it will still link to the fact that we are passionate about education and using education as a tool for personal development as well as inspiring personal development in others. That's like our mission statement.
Yes, Tombi. Correct. Anyone else? Any comments? Okay, I'm gonna pick on Hannah because I liked her story. Hannah, where to from here?
Well, I have been recently thinking of applying for the United World Colleges overseas next year. So I think that's probably that's my next step from here on out. Yeah.
I'd just like to share a comment that Queen Ish 101 has said here on TikTok. She says that she loves this session that we've had. It's more like a refresher on my MBA since I'm not applying the skills in my current job. So just something. Then we've got here NCM through says, thank you so much for being so helpful to so many of us. Your stories are so as your mom is very inspirational.
Okay.
And then Queen Ish has also said that for me, this session has helped me to see how much problems we can solve with regards to the Sustainable Development Goals.
Cool. Wow. Lovely.
I wanted the participants to really take in this personal development coaching because it's very important, as we've highlighted, that it applies to your university applications, your personal statement, your job, when you are providing a pitch, like it applies everywhere. That's why we need to take so much time carving out our thoughts to say, who exactly am I?
Exactly. And it really doesn't matter whether you are a high school student or a professional. A lot of people struggle with this, but I think it's important for us to expose high school students to this level of knowledge so that they can build on who they are. Now that you are aware that some of these aspects link up to crafting who you are, you can explore a bit more in terms of your passions, because you can't also just be focused on your studies solely. When it comes to institutions abroad or even local institutions or getting bursaries abroad or locally, they want to know what else you've been doing besides your studies so that They can understand whether you're a well-rounded person or not. So if you are clear on your passions, you'll be able to say, okay, if I can come up with some sort of a project like in my community, whether it is growing some vegetables for the community, whether it is I love to do, even if it's like you love to do hair, starting something of your own, that is based on your passions, those skills that you hone in actually add to the bulk of who you become as you grow and you progress in your career.
And another thing it does, I'm going to steal a page from your other coaching philosophies, is that it helps you to then live your life intentionally. What this means is that you'll only engage in things that you are passionate about, in things that can assist you in helping to make a change in this world, you know? So, yeah.
Any parting words, Rodney?
I think Liam, you've covered so many things, but I think like all I can say is that, you know, it's I think for those who are here, in those who are in still in high school, I think I mean this is information that some of us think that if we had this type of conversations at this juncture of their lives, you know, we don't know where we will be today, you know. But it's really good just to be in this space, and you know, it as AD has said that, you know, it also rejuvenates one, and you know, just to keep on moving. And it's quite important for one to sell, you know, yourself, you know, in a way that, you know, people will be able to see. And you know, and maybe just also to make a comment about, it is interesting how, you know, technology, it's so powerful in that. So earlier on, so I went to my LinkedIn profile and noticed that there was and a message on my inbox. So it was actually a recruiter being interested in my service, and you know, wanting to talk to me for another opportunity somewhere, you know. So it's those type of things wherein, you know, when we link it back to the sustainable development goals, and you know, it's all those things that each of us will be able to be, you know, occupying that space to make the world a better place. And now, you know, opportunities just come in, probably simply because of how one, you know, in that profile in LinkedIn. We spoke about the LinkedIn thing, Tombi, I under the other time. So
Yes. I think we're also going to address the LinkedIn profile as the sessions go, because even if they're in high school, they can start building their LinkedIn profiles.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and if you can look at my LinkedIn profile in the banner, I've said that I am a researcher that is looking for ways to resolve sustainable development goals 4 and 6. So I'm also putting it out there, you know, to say this is what I am interested in. And it's a lot of people who will look at your profile, you know, and like you said, you get different people who will then reach out to you. So I think, yeah, LinkedIn will be something we should also consider for the young ones.
Yep. So yeah, so those are my parting shots.
Riabetswe, what are you gonna do with the information? Okay, I think if that's it for me, guys. If there aren't any other further questions or comments, I'd like to thank you for joining us today. And yeah, we'll see you. We're actually seeing you next week, because we've got one of the speakers who wasn't able to make it today is going to join us next week. She is an epidemiologist. So I think it'll be nice for you guys to get exposure to that side of the healthcare field.
And we're also going to be having someone who comes from property, real estate, who's also going to come and talk about their journey, their education, and how they ended up where they are today.
All righty then. Till next time.
Bye, guys. Thank you for joining us.
Bye.
Bye, Divine.
Bye.
Thank you for having us.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.